おはようございます。じゃあ、やってみましょう。2日目です。アポロと話をしに行くか、パンの様子を見に行った方がいいねとあるんですが、ペルセポネとも会話できる。この前、ペルセポネかアポロかどっちかについていくかみたいなシーンがあって、アポロについて行ったんだけど、それ起こってないからペルセポネにちょっと確認しに行きたいな。別に嫌われたくはないから、行ってみよう。
As I recall, Grace, when I said stay or leave, you chose to leave. If it wasn't clear, I don't give second chances. Or did you have some other reason for darkening my doorstep?
クラブで楽しみに来ちゃダメなの?
Couldn't be here for the cool music and a drink? I definitely need one.
Am I supposed to believe you're here to blow off steam?
Why not? Don't you ever?
にやり。
Ooh, here I thought I could drink. Lady, you have my respect and admiration.
ちゃんと飲んでる。
You'll have an idol's fortitude in time. Now, however, I need to call our little evening to an end.
あら。このまま続けるってのはどう?
Oh, so soon? I was just thinking
夜は
how
これ
much
か
I
らだ
like
ぜ。
the music here.
Oh, is that so? Well, the dance floor is that way.
一人で行けと。
Care to join
おい
me?
おい。
My dancing days are over, Grace. Do enjoy yourself.
そんな
Drinks are on the house.
いいの?
One
割
last
と気
word
に
of
入られてん
advice
じゃねえの
before you
俺。
go. If you want to survive, don't look to anyone else for help.
おまけに助言ま
Apollo,
で。
not Pan, not even me. You walked away from my offer, and I respect that. Make your choices and live with them.
なるほど。まあ俺の判断に怒ってるわけではなかったね。むしろ尊敬してるとも言ってたし。さてどうしよっかな。まず、どっちかしか聞けないんかな。そんなことないと思うから、とりあえずパンに聞いてみようかな。どうせ何もわかんねえから。アポロが本命なんで後回しにしたい。なんだこれ。あ、でもこれ前出てきたな。
I'd say hello, Grace, but I'm afraid that look on your face might be catching.
What is this place?
It's a garden, darling. Surely even mortals have them.
This building. All those people I pass getting up here. Are they all idols?
Oh, at least some of them. Welcome to Olympus, dear Grace.
あ、ここがオリンポス。
Our home hidden away in plain sight.
思ったよりちっちゃい。
Marvelous, isn't it?
オリンポスは隠れてる場所なの?
I've passed this part of the city 100 times. I've never seen this building. Was it always here? Or...
Our Lady Hecate provides glamours that allow certain things to go unseen, such as my glorious
そうなんだ。
homes.
普通の人には見えない。
Those invited see it. Those who aren't see exactly what they expect. It's not anywhere as grand as in the old country, but it serves its purpose.
これが大きくないって、まあ想像してた100倍はちっちゃいけど。オリンポスって言ってもなんか大都市みたいなイメージだから。
I don't know, Pan. Olympus seems pretty grand to me.
As if mortals would know any better. This isn't the first time you've been here. I'm sure Hermes took you to Athena's dreary office.
That's here? Huh.
Good one, that Hermes. Almost as dull-witted as the original, but biddable.
アイドルって何人いるの? 結構いるんだな。
How many idols are there? I've met, what, less than
AKB ぐらいいる?
Oh, I don't know. 20, 30. Our numbers have dwindled so much I've stopped keeping track.
I didn't know there were that many gods.
We're not all equally legendary, it's true. Some idols were barely worshipped, others not at all. Indeed, not all of us are idols. Some are merely immortal. Hangers-on, if you will. We'll meet them all, given time.
なるほどね。みんな特別な力持ってるやつばっかりじゃないんだ、アイドルは。ほとんどのアイドルはここに住んでんの?
Idols live here? I mean, Calliope didn't, obviously. Apollo doesn't either.
One must have special dispensation from Our Lady of Wisdom, Athena, before they can take up a private dung heap like Apollo's.
Am I gonna have to give him my apartment?
That's rather putting the cart before the horse, darling. First, you must outlive the week.
まあ確かに。
Right. Good point. You asked me to meet you here?
I did. Though I feared you might decline, considering your rather callous rejection earlier.
ムカつくわこの悲しそうなふ
Regardless,
り。
my pride is intact, as is the favor you owe me, which I now wish to collect.
なんだ借りって。期待通りの展開ね。
Oh, sure. I'm totally in a position to help others right now. Lay it on me.
Here's the thing. A friend has begged for my help, and you're far better suited than I to offer what he requires.
な
I'll
んだ
give
そ
you
り
a
ゃ。
key to reach the reliquary where he resides. You help him, and then we're even. If that's not enough incentive, the reliquary is also where you'll find the lovely Hecate. A sorceress of her power could aid your quest. What do you say?
まあそう聞くと確かに行ってみたくはあるね。猫の手でも借りたい状況だからな今は。その前に頼みの内容聞きたいんだけど。
This person I'm to help. What does he want? And why can't you do it?
Well, Grace, there are some things you're better equipped to handle than I.
答えになってない。
This, as I understand it, is a delicate matter of the heart. One that requires a muse's hand.
ああ、
A
心か。
matter of the heart.
What, did you think I was sending you to rough someone up? Set something aflame? Don't be absurd. The man has an issue with his love life.
恋
Even if
愛。
he can't help him, I'll treat the effort as worth the favor.
いや、確かに、俺の力はね、心を開かせるみたいな、あるかもしんないけど。まあ、パンじゃ無理だろうな。というか、よくそんな手伝う気になったね。俺を介して。パン、本当は優しいやつなんかな。それだけ
So that's it? Fix up someone's love life? Nothing trickier than that?
Oh,
No,
the
but
way
omoirashi
you
kunai na.
talk, Grace. It makes me blush.
Well, it's just
I
that
trade in willing favors, Grace. If I didn't, no one would want to do as I ask, and then where would I be? I may seem untrustworthy, but allow me to reassure you. If I wish you harm, you will walk into that harm knowingly
怖い。
and with open arms.
そうなんかな。すごくずる賢い喋り方するんだね。いや、その喋り方のせいで君が信用されないのは。
you're saying you can
No,
talk
shouldn't I?
me into anything?
Anything you would enter into willingly and with eyes wide open, which covers a great deal. Yes,
That's surprisingly ethical of you, Pan.
I find consent wildly attractive, Grace.
ヘカテが本当に私を手伝ってくれるの？
This Hecate. Do you think she could help me?
If she's of a mind. She is the goddess of dark magic, the creator of all our marvelous glamours. If anyone can help you, it is she.
And if she's not of a mind?
Then she won't help you. Grace, that part is up to you. I can't be expected to do everything, can I?
まあその通りだが。霊長って何なの？
What is this reliquary? Doesn't that have something to do with the bones of saints or something?
Not those relics. Our relics. The relics of ancient gods. Magical treasures collected over thousands of years.
すげえ。
Books, mainly.
今
We
回
store them in a faraway place so no one unsavory can get their hands on them.
Unsavory like you?
Unsavory
めっ
like
ちゃ
most.
すごい顔してた今。
Athena has decreed that these relics are not to be used by
不服そうだった。
any save Hecate and herself. A rather dull waste of so much amassed knowledge and power, but who am I to judge? I'm not leader of the chorus.
霊長って危険なの？まあ使い方次第じゃない？
If these relics are off limits, does that mean they're dangerous?
Some, but I'm not asking you to chase after any of that nonsense. In fact, I'd advise against it.
But what if one of those relics could help me?
確かに。
My, such an adventurer you are. It's possible, but ask Hecate first. She, and I mean this with complete and uncharacteristic seriousness,
そんな真
is
面目
not
に
an
言われると
idol
怖い。
you or anyone wishes to cross.
まあ考えてみるよ。まあ行くけどね。
I'll think about it. But no promises.
Marvelous. The gentleman you seek is named Asterion. Lovely fellow,
Asterion.
quite harmless. I'll send a package to your domicile that contains directions and the key you'll need to reach the reliquary.
I said no promises.
Well, if you decide to go, Grace, you'll still need all those things. Say hello to darling Hecate on my behalf, will you?
はいはい。どうせ行くからね。行くってこともこいつ知ってんだろうな。失礼。アステリオンか。でも、聞いたことあるな。なんか、あれじゃない？なんかラビリンスの怪物。アステリオンだっけあれ。わかんないな。まあ、でもとりあえず霊長行ってみようか。どうしよう。アポロとまず話した方がいいかな。アポロと話そう。あんまほったらかしにするのもあれだし。
Ah, Grace, you're back. That's good. I was just about to call you.
He means he wants me to call you because Paul here still hasn't figured out how to use a phone.
That's not true. I know how. I just don't like them. They're confusing.
俺も嫌い。
Anyhow,
なんか緊張
I've
すん
been
だよな。
contemplating our
電話
list
っ
of
て。
suspects, and I think Pan is someone we need to consider.
パン、会いに行ったよ、もう。ごめん。一人で会いに行ったわ。電話がどうしたって。
Wait. You don't like phones?
I just don't like talking to people I can't see.
No, it's the ringtones. They scare the crap out of him. I
着
kid
信
you
音が
not.
嫌いなの。
I'm not frightened. Only a child would be frightened. They're just very loud.
そうなんだ。独特だな、その怖がり方が。
Can we return to the subject of Pan, please?
すいません。脱線しましたね。パンはもう除外したんじゃなかったのか？
Why Pan? I thought you'd rejected him as a suspect.
Persephone did, but I've had time to think it over. Pan is a schemer, a traitor in favors. He always has been. His sudden appearance in all this cannot be coincidental.
You think he could have killed Calliope after all?
Perhaps. Or he knows who did and is trying to turn it to his benefit. He always knows more than he pretends.
I actually went to see
確かに。
Pan at Olympus. I
知ら
guess
ない
that
ふりして
wasn't
たわ。
such a great idea.
Spoke to him again. Already.
もうすでに
For。the third time. He was at the underworld, too. He wants me to repay a favor by helping someone at a place
抜け
called
てんな、
the
翻訳が。
Reliquary.
わかんない。
The reliquary. Now, why would Pan send you there of all places? I don't like the sound of that.
まあ、嫌な予感。どうだろうな。依頼の内容がちょっと恋愛相談っていう平和そうなものだけにちょっと不安ではあるよね。嫌な予感するけど行ってみるしかなくない？
Neither do I. It could be some kind of trap, right?
Well, Hecate runs the reliquary, and I doubt she'd play along with any plan of his. Still, it's odd. Aphrodite is holding a party of sorts, one you should attend. She is closest to Pan. Indeed, she knows almost all the idols. If anyone is up to something, she's bound to know.
どんなパーティーなの？
What
話
do
せる
you
よう
mean
なパ
by
ーテ
a
ィー？
party of sorts? I mean, I'm always down for a party, but
It's more of a remembrance
儀式。
than a party.
ミサかな？
It's difficult to describe.
that's awfully vague, Apollo.
It'll be easier to see for
ミサ
yourself.
ではないか。
It's
ミサを
nothing you
パーティ
can't
ーとかいう
handle.
やつは信用できない。アフロディーテと話せないの？
You know Aphrodite better than I do. Can't you talk to her?
Well, talking to Aphrodite isn't
そんな奴らばっ
something
かりじゃ
anyone
ない？
does with much success these days.
Well, if that's the case, what makes you think I'll get anywhere?
There's a standing invitation for the Muse to attend this party. Calliope never went, so Aphrodite will be thrilled to see you. Trust me.
カルペじゃな
If
く
I
てもいい
thought
ん
you
だ。
couldn't get her to talk, I wouldn't suggest it.
Okay, I'll go. Eventually.
Perfect. I will see you there.
Paul, you should see this. The names you wanted me to look up are getting weird results.
I don't doubt it.
何
I was hoping you could.
Get over here!
No worries, Paul. I'll see you later.
見ていかないの気になるじゃん。あれ、アポロとの会話がまだ残ってんだ。なんだ気になる。なんだこれ。アポロとの会話に行けない。あれ、なんかどうなってんのこれ。何よこれ。これ。アポロ。また来ちゃった。いや、先ぶり。
Welcome back, Grace. Is there something you came to discuss?
一応いろいろ聞けんな。あんたのことがもっと知りたいわ、私。
I'd like to know a little more about you. All I know is you live in a dump, you have an oracle, and you...
I'm not sure what to tell you. One day has bled into the next for so long, I feel like I've been lost in the spaces in between.
何それ抽象的だ
Wow,
な。
that's a bit
わかんね
dramatic.
Yeah, well, it comes naturally. Music and the arts were once under my purview as a god.
How did that get decided? Did you have a big hat full of pieces of paper and you all picked at random?
No, we chose them for ourselves. Some, at least. Others were given to us by our priests. We collected godly responsibilities like
いまいちわか
marbles.
んないな。
People
どういうことだ
collect marbles.
いるわ。
Or whatever it is mortals collect these days. Cars, perhaps? The point is, we took our godly duties very seriously.
あんたどんな神だったの
You must have been very different back when you were a proper god.
ちゃんと神様だった
I
頃。
think most of us
トゲがある
were.
な。
We saw ourselves as, I don't know, teachers. Mortals were our students, and we guided them to enlightenment.
まあ人間が思っ
We
てる
thought
神
we
っ
were
てそんな感じだよ
special,
ね。
infallible. I was as magnificent as the sun, and I surrounded myself with those who basked in my radiance.
That doesn't sound like you.
I was arrogant. If there was a man or woman I desired, then I had to have them, or there would be consequences. You wouldn't have liked me. I wouldn't have liked me.
だいぶ自己嫌悪に陥っている。でも今は違うんだろしっかりしろよ。どうしてペルセポネあんた怒ってんの
So what is Persephone's beef with you exactly? Is it just about what Hades did to her?
That's no
めちゃくちゃ
small
切れてたよ
thing.
ね。
It seems more personal than that.
I mentioned how Persephone's kidnapping almost meant war between Olympus and Hades, yes?
うん。
Well, while this was all going on, Persephone managed to escape the underworld, and I'm the one she encountered first.
Uh-oh.
Hades was hot on her heels, and I had a choice. Either do battle with Hades and start the war right then and there, or
はあ。
let him take her back.
それで、
Zeus would have had my head if I had sparked a war. Yet all I still think of
なるほど。
are Persephone's
ペルセポネを
eyes
引き渡したわけだ。
as Hades smugly took back his prisoner.
空恨み買うな。
It's not my finest moment.
まあでも、アポロの気持ちもわからんでもないけどな。確かにペルセポネのことを考えたら最低なんだけど、誰だって死にたかないしな。難しいね、これは。セラピー試したことあるやかましいわだけど。
Apollo, have you ever tried, I don't know, talking to someone about how you feel?
I will never understand this modern fascination with therapy and focusing on one's feelings.
It might help. You never know.
Yes, I've tried it. There was one I used to speak to. Hecate enchanted him never to reveal what I told him.
そんな
I
魔
don't
法も
know
な
that
んのか。
unburdening myself to the man helped. He wasn't exactly trained for this sort of problem.
It is kind of hard to relate to a god, sure.
I do appreciate the thought. But I'm afraid muddling through is as good as it gets for us.
アイドルについて教えてくれ。
I'd like to know a little more about the idols. I am one now, right?
You are. What would you like to know?
Well, what are we? Where did we come from? If an idol is a soul that moves from person to person, it must have started somewhere, right?
The short answer is, we don't know. If I think far enough back, I can remember bits and pieces. I remember my first Pythian games, the day the idols split in two over Troy, the day my first son died.
いたんだ、息子。
But before that, nothing. None of us do. I vaguely recall the very first Apollo many thousands of years ago, but was he the original? Did he appear out of the ether? I couldn't tell you.
昔のことすぎて覚えてないのかな。どこから来たか知らないなんてあり得る。でも俺らもそんな理由なんて分かってないじゃん。俺、なんか、人間が生まれた理由みたいなさ。それと同じこと？ちょっと違う？
Isn't it strange to not know where you come from? For all you know, the idols could be aliens.
Interesting. The notion that there might be some other place far away where we're the norm is comforting. Sadly, our memories are filled with blanks. There was a war with beings we called the Titans. A terrible conflict where half our number died, yet do I remember a single battle. The last was after Rome fell. Zeus called us together to relay the news, told us to prepare for battle.
すげえ飛ぶな。
And then, in the blink of an eye, I was in the 16th century. What made us forget 1,000 years? What happened during that time? We don't know. Athena calls that period the gap.
アイドルはみんなその1000年間だけぽっかりと抜けてんだ。気になるな。その、なんていうのこれ。好き。
The gap you mentioned. What was that like? Did you just wake up one day, or...?
I know I was alive. I passed on my eidolon who knows how many times, yet the moment I woke up, as you call it, all memory of that period was gone. It was Athena who found us. I was in France, I think. She came to my farm, and the moment I laid eyes on her, I just knew. It all came back. Did someone do that to us? Did we scatter to the winds for 1,000 years on purpose? It's a mystery.
What about Athena? I mean, she's the one who found you, right? She must have been aware.
アテナ怪しいけど、そしたら。
She awoke on her own and spent the next century locating the other idols. We've pieced together very little of the gap or of our origins. We simply live with it. Gods we may be, but I'm afraid we don't have all the answers.
それが気になって調べるような人はいなかったの？息子がいたの？
Earlier you mentioned your son dying. Did I hear that right? Can idols have children?
It was rare, but yes. Back in ancient times, some of them even became idols themselves.
Some of the idols are actually family, then.
Not anymore. Most of our children met terrible ends, a gift of the fates, perhaps. I don't know. The ones who weren't idols... It's hard, watching your children grow old and die. Never
まあそうだよ
understanding
な。
why they can't have the same immortality you do, why you...
自分の子が自分より先に死ぬってのは、辛いよな、それ。
My first son is why I'm not permitted in Hades any longer. Let's simply say that most idols have stopped having children and maybe leave it at that.
ああ、なるほどね。子 家族を作れないから作らないっていうことじゃなくて、自分より先に死んでしまったり、悲惨な最後を遂げるのが嫌で、みんなもう家族を作るのはやめたってことか。なるほどな、暗いな。カリオペについて教えてくれ。
Tell me more about Calliope. You and her were good friends, right?
For centuries, we were far more. I was the god of the arts, and the muses were my constant companions. We went everywhere together. They had many names, but the three most common were Clio, Talia, and Calliope. The sisters of beauty, I called them, though they weren't always women.
性別も
I
自由な
never
の
thought
か。
of that. Do idols change gender a lot?
Most of us seek out inheritors who are like us, I suppose, but not all. Calliope, in fact, was a man in our previous incarnation.
男性
Christoph,
だっ
I
たんだ。
think his name was. A poet Calliope adored. I was surprised when she made him a muse.
クリストフの後にカリオペになったのは誰？
Who did Calliope become after that poet, Christoph?
You have to realize we're already into the period where Calliope and I weren't
わかんないってこ
really
とか。
speaking. She
カリオ
showed
ペっ
up
て
one
名
day
前じゃ
in
な
a
い
new
の？
form, the one you met. An opera singer whose name she never revealed.
オペラ
We
歌手。
fought, as I recall. I told her she couldn't pass on every time she met an artist she fell in love with. Eventually, she'd
あ、ごめん。なんか止めちゃった。
forget everything about who we were and where we came from. She said she'd rather forget than wallow in old memories like I or the other idols were doing. It was time to wake up and make the best of our situation.
まあ一理あるけど。
Calliope was an idealist without compromise. Always. She hated what we'd become. What I'd become. She wasn't wrong.
まあそれは前も言ってたね。腐りゆくアイドルを止めたかったみたいなことを言ってたもんな、ペルセポネが。ちょっと待って、キーが外れた。カリオペとあんたよく喧嘩したの？
From how you describe it, you and Calliope fought a lot.
As often as we saw each other, which became less and less as time wore on. However, she fought with everyone.
めっ
Calliope
ちゃ恨み買っ
hated
てそうだけ
the
どな、
idols
カリ
being
オペ。
kept secret. She and Athena would get into screaming matches over the rules, and it got so I could no longer protect her.
アテナとも喧嘩してたの？
She moved out of Olympus years ago and kept to herself. I just assumed she was wrapped up with some new artist when I got the news.
Do you regret not making up with her?
Every day I think about our last conversation and what I should have said or done differently. The problem with immortality is that you think you have all the time in the world.
確かに。不老不死で困んないのって自分の時間だけだからね。他の人は同じように不老不死じゃないかもしれないからな。カリオペのいいところは一つもなかったの？そんなことないでしょ。
It wasn't only fighting with Calliope, right? Surely there were good things too.
Is that how it sounds? No. She was marvelous. A force to be reckoned with if there ever was one. In
一緒
the
に旅して
darkest
たんでしょ？
days during the war, it was her songs that gave us hope. She kept Aphrodite alive through sheer determination, I think. Calliope cared. About us, about art, about people she'd only just met. It was her greatest strength as well as her greatest weakness.
I wonder why she picked me. I don't feel like I'm any of those things.
You underestimate yourself, Grace. I see a lot of her in you.
え？そうかな？
She chose well.
普通に歌に悩んでた。自分の行き先に悩んでた大学生だったけどな、グレースは。今んところそれだけだよ。まあ
That's
大
all I
学も
can
中
think
退
of
した
for
けど。
now. I'll see you around.
Of course. I look forward to it.
話をありがとう。だいぶ時間が経っちまったな。まあ、とりあえず今回ここまでにしておきますか。次回は霊長にでも行こうかな。はい、じゃあありがとうございました。